let's move on to task 3. Follow the flow. Okay, analyze the textual aid and answer the questions that follow. Write your answers in your answer sheet. So, this textual aid is entitled The Writing Process. So, there are 6 ovals. Here are the questions. What type of text aid is it? So, what type of textual aid is it? Okay, the correct answer for that question is we have flow chart. Yes, from the word flow there. Well, let's move on to number 2. What is it all about? So, what is in that flow chart? So, the correct answer is, it is about the writing process. Again, the answer for number 2 is about the writing process. Now, let's move on to number 3. What are the processes involved? So, what are they? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, the processes involved are pre-writing, responding, editing, writing, revising, polishing, and sharing. So, those are examples of or the processes involved in this writing process. Are your answers correct, guys? Very good. Now, let's continue with the activity in task 4. Compare and contrast. Examine the diagram below and answer the questions that follow. Write your answers on your activity sheet. Okay, there are 2 overlapping circles there. One is about the birds, the other one is bats. So birds lay eggs, have feathers and beak. For the bats live young, have fur and teeth. So their similarities are they both have 2 legs, warm-blooded animals, vertebrate, 4 limbs modified as wings. Now, question is this one. What type of textual aid is it? Again, what type of textual aid is it? Remember the similarities and differences? Okay, so the correct answer for number 1 is Venn diagram. Very good. Now let's move on to number 2. What specific information does the diagram show? What specific information does the diagram show? The correct answer for number 2 is it shows the similarities and differences of birds and bats. Again, it shows, this is the correct answer for number 2. It shows the similarities and differences of birds and bats. So that's the correct answer for number 2. Now let's proceed to question number 3. What are the similarities and differences of birds and bats? So similarities and differences of birds and bats. So let's start with the similarities. So these are the similarities here. Similarities of birds and bats. So we have here birds and bats both have 2 legs, warm-blooded, vertebrate, 4 limbs modified as wings. And then on the other hand, there are differences. Birds lay eggs, have feathers and beak, while bats live young, have fur and teeth. So that's the correct answer for number 3. Again, the similarities and difference of birds and bats. So the similarities is birds and bats have 2 legs, warm-blooded, vertebrate, 4 limbs modified as wings. Their differences is Birds lay eggs, have feathers, and beak, while bats live young, have fur and teeth. So that's the correct answer for number 3. Shall we continue with the next task, which is what I have learned? You're doing well in the previous activities, so let's check your understanding. Here is the directions. Choose the letter that corresponds to the correct answer. Write your answers in your answer sheet. Number 1, a type of textual aids in which points are connected to show relationships between two or more items. Okay, the correct answer is letter C, line graph. Now let's continue with number 2. It is the most realistic and dramatic representation of physical features in which the reader can see exactly what the writer is talking about. The correct answer for number 2 is letter A, image or picture. Let's continue. Number 3. They are length of parallel bars, either vertical or horizontal, and are used to make comparisons. Okay, the correct answer is letter A, bar graph. Number 4. Line graphs are A, starting with the earliest and following the order in which they occurred. B, diagram of data in which specific values are plotted as dots and connected using lines. C, a graph in which a circle is divided into sectors and each represent a portion of the whole. Or D, a diagram in which the numerical values or variables are represented by the height or length of rectangles of equal width. The correct answer for number 4 is letter B. Diagram of data in which specific values are plotted as dots and connected using lines. Now let's move on to number 5. A circle that is divided into segments to represent the portion or proportion of observations that are in each category. A, bar graphs, B, diagrams, C, line graphs, or D, pie chart. The correct answer for number 5 is letter D, pie chart. Now let's move on to number 6. The type of textual aid in the picture is A, bar graph, B, flowchart, C, line graph, or D, pie chart. What do you think? Okay, the correct answer for number 6 is letter B, flow chart. Next, for items 7 to 10, read the following passage. Use an appropriate textual aid to simplify or summarize the text. Write your answers in your answer sheet. So again, using your module, I want you to read the following passage and use an appropriate textual aid to simplify or summarize the text. Write your answers in your answer sheet. Again, what you are going to do for items 7 to 10, you need to answer this, is you are going to simplify or summarize the text. This one, all of these, you are going to simplify and summarize using a textual aid. So you have to choose what textual aid you are going to use just to simplify or summarize the text. And your answer is equivalent to 4 points. So that's for items 7 to 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 points. Okay, let's move on to task 5. This is entitled Cause-Effect Diagram. Here is what you are going to do. Read and understand the essay. So using your module, I want you to read the essay. And then after reading the essay, you are going to summarize the key points using the cause and effect diagram. So again, using the cause and effect diagram, you are going to summarize the key points of this essay. Then you are going to write your answer in your answer sheet. Again, using your module, I want you to read the essay. Then after reading the essay, you are going to summarize the key points of this essay using the what kind of diagram? Cause and effect diagram. So you are going to write your answer in your activity sheet. So good luck, guys. So here is a given example. This is how you are going to answer task 5. So we have here increase of women in the workplace. So you are going to provide 3 causes, with each cause has to have effect. So cause 1 has to have effect 1, cause 2 has to have effect 2, and also cause 3 has to have effect 3. So that's the format of your answer for task 5. Again, good luck for this activity. Well, you're done with the exercises in this module. Congratulations for doing your best. Now let's assess how well you understood the lessons. So react and respond rightly. How will you react and respond in each of the following situations? Write your answers in your answer sheet. Okay, number 1. You are walking around city. From one street, you would like to cross to the next street. When you are about to cross the road, you see this sign. So what is the right thing to do when you see or you will see this sign? Again, the correct answer for number 1 is do not cross the street. Look for a pedestrian lane where it is safer to cross. Again, do not cross the street. Look for a pedestrian lane where it is safer to cross. Again, for the 3rd time, the correct answer for number 1 is do not cross the street. Look for a pedestrian lane where it is safer to cross. So that's for number 1. Let's move on to number 2. Joanna, a natural-born Filipina, is sweating and she hears her stomach rumbling. She stops at a public toilet and sees 2 doors with these signs. So door 1, this one. Door 2 is this one. Okay. To which door should she enters and why? Again, to which door should Joanna enters? Door 1 or door 2? Okay, the correct answer for number 2 is door 2. Why? Door 2 because it is the comfort room for women. Again, the correct answer for number 2 is door 2 because it is the comfort room for the women. Very good. Now let's move on to the next question. Jim is driving at 90 kilometers per hour speed. While approaching his destination, he saw this road sign. So this is the road sign. What must Jim do? Okay, the correct answer is Jim must slow down because he is approaching the school zone. Again, Jim must slow down because he is approaching the school zone. For the 3rd time, here is the correct answer for number 3. Jim must slow down because he is approaching the school zone. Okay, by this time, you have already familiarized the different forms or types of textual aids. So do the additional activities for mastery and retention. So this is task 6, which is entitled Show It with a Textual Aid. So here is the situation. Aaron and Bruce differ in 4 ways. The first difference is height. Aaron is tall, while Bruce is short. Second difference is strength. Aaron is strong, while Bruce is weak. Third difference is appearance. Aaron, who is average looking, in which Bruce is handsome. The final difference is intelligence. Aaron is of average intelligence, while Bruce is very intelligent. Now, using a textual aid, show how Aaron and Bruce differ from each other. Write your answers on the activity notebook. So what do you think is the answer, or what textual aid are you going to use? Okay, for task 6, here is the textual aid that you are going to use. So you are going to use Venn diagram because it shows the similarities and differences of Aaron and Bruce. So 2 circles, overlapping circles. So under Aaron, we have tall, strong, average looking, and average intelligence. While Bruce is short, weak, handsome, and very intelligent. Again, for task 6, you are going to use the Venn diagram to show how Aaron and Bruce differ from each other. So that's the correct answer for task 6. Now let's move on to number 2. Dara is conducting a survey on the favorite pets of students. The responses were the following: dogs 820, cats 700, fish 330, birds 215. Present the data using a text aid. Write your answers in your answer sheet. So again, how are you going to present the data? Okay, using a text aid or a textual aid, you are going to present the data, which are the following: dogs 820, cats 700, fish 330, birds 215. So here is what you are going to use. The textual aid that you are going to use is the textual aid that you are going to use is bar graph. So here you have to write the title, favorite pets of students. Then on the left side, you are going to write from 0 up to 900. So by hundreds, 100, 200, 300 up to 900. Then below we have dogs. So you're going to include how many dogs. So cats, you have to draw a bar. Okay. Next, for the fish, how many fish? And birds, how many birds? So you have to draw bars in each of the animal. So that's it for number 2. You are going again to use the bar graph. So that's all for lesson 1, guys. I know it's very long, but I hope all of your answers are correct, and I hope also that you learned a lot from this lesson. This has been your teacher, Mamshi Ives, saying adios. Mwah.